South Africa's government consumes trillions of taxpayers' money every year. Yet, children in the government-funded schools cannot read. The government roads collapse and more become completely unusable. And on top of all of this, millions of poor South Africans remain unemployed with no hope whatsoever of ever finding a job in their lifetimes. But what would happen if the public sector were abolished altogether? Would it lead to economic collapse and mass starvation as the government wants us to believe? Stay tuned, because in today's video we are going to take a deep dive into what mass privatization would mean for the ordinary South African and show how such a step alone could actually create hundreds of thousands of new jobs by freeing up trillions of rands for this country's productive private sector. The highly respected economist Dawie Roodt has faced severe backlash for his recent suggestion to slash tender salaries by half. The strongest formal rejection of this proposal came from the Public Servants Association, or PSA, who described Roodt's suggestion as misguided, insulting and dangerous. There was also a further backlash from the trade union SACAWU, who likewise openly rejected Roodt's proposal, and of course likewise on social media. Of course, herein must be granted that both sides of the argument are understandable. On the one hand, Dawie Roodt needs to be credited with actually being brave enough to make such a bold suggestion, to at least try and reform an education system that is completely failing the children of this country. As we recently reported on this channel, the vast majority of elementary school children in this country go through years of public education and still remain functionally illiterate into their teenage years. In fact, when you consider the billions of taxpayer rand spent on public education in this country every single year, it is very safe to say that South Africa has the least productive and least effective education system in the entire world. On the other hand of the argument, you have to really feel for those teachers, even if they are a minority who work hard and are actually committing to doing their job. And make no mistake, we actually do have some of the world's best teachers in the country, at least in some of our public schools. The problem is just that they are vastly, and I mean vastly, outnumbered by those who are lazy, incompetent, or both. And keep in mind that when you consider inflation, teachers' salaries have effectively already been drastically reduced over the past few years. You see, since 2019, the average teacher salary in this country may have increased by 31%, but the reality is that cumulative inflation over the very same period was 38%, meaning that entry-level salaries are now, in terms of purchasing power, around 18,000 rands per year less than they were prior to the COVID lockdown. But to understand what the heart of the problem is, we will have to move beyond this simple microeconomic argument about teachers' salaries for a moment, to uncover the deeper underlying problem that Roodt should be addressing. The fact that South Africa's unproductive public sector are keeping the poorest workers of this country permanently impoverished by diverting resources away from entrepreneurs who could have otherwise created jobs, invested in productivity, and paid higher wages. What we have here in South Africa is an overpaid and very ineffective state that consumes an astonishing 17% of our total GDP, or around 1.4 trillion rands every single year, the highest in the world by a very large margin, for public sector salaries alone. Yet, in the 2026 financial year, the government will also spend a further 300 billion rands of taxpayers' money on grants for 27 million beneficiaries. Yet, the salaries of the comparatively very small number of actual employed people by the state are now more than 4 times as much. And because this public sector is so grossly unproductive, it effectively consumes the capital that entrepreneurs needed to create the very jobs that we need so desperately in this country, and raise the productivity of our economy and pay our workers more, and of course get more people employed. The people who ultimately carry the heaviest burden here in South Africa are the poorest, who are left competing for fewer jobs and lower wages every single year. I mean, just imagine what could be done if this 1.4 trillion or around 100 billion US dollars could be kept in the private sector to be reinvested into our economy. And keep in mind that it is not only entrepreneurs footing the bill. The poor also still have to help finance the system. They may pay little or no personal income tax, but every time they buy clothing or electricity or airtime or household products or food that is necessary in their houses that are not zero rated, they pay VAT, value added tax. Businesses then incorporate corporate taxes, fuel levies, municipal charges, electricity costs, and the enormous expense of complying with government regulations into the prices of the products paid by these ordinary consumers. In the 2025-26 financial year alone, SARS extracted more than 2 trillion rands from our economy, equivalent of 26% of the country's entire GDP, and by far the highest in the entire world. And while we here at the Willem Petsche Group position ourselves as freedom-loving Christian nationalists and not as anarcho-libertarians, the reality is that at this point in time we would be far better off by simply abolishing the institution that currently consumes more than 2 trillion in taxes every year while failing to provide services to the people of this country, failing to ensure our safety, and dismally failing to maintain our infrastructure in this country. And on this channel, we are not afraid to expose the extent to which the government has failed the people of South Africa and how much money they are costing us every year. Help us continue our campaign for liberty by joining the Willem Petsche Group as a patron today by simply following these easy steps on the banner below, and help us produce videos of this content every single day and do the research that is needed. You see, if the public sector were to be actually abolished, schools would still employ teachers, hospitals would still employ nurses, communities would still fund security, roads and welfare, like they are already doing all across the country anyway. But instead of all these services having to pass through an enormous political intermediary bureaucracy, the resources could remain with families and businesses and churches and charities and communities and competing service providers who must actually satisfy the clients who are funding them. What we really need is not for teachers' salaries to be cut in half, as mentioned earlier in this video. We need to liberate our local communities from a massive tax burden that would allow them to be able to build and maintain their own schools and pay these teachers even more, for the most part. But perhaps more importantly, if the public sector were to be abolished completely, it would massively help alleviate poverty and unemployment. Because every rand that is no longer absorbed by an unproductive bureaucracy remains somewhere in the economy where it can be spent productively. It remains with the family that can now afford to buy more food, with the small businesses that can employ other workers, or with the entrepreneur who can purchase new equipment, expand productivity, and pay higher wages for his workers that he's already employing. The fact of the matter is that even if just 30% of the 2 trillion currently collected in taxes by SARS were converted into additional private sector payroll, at an average employment cost of around 320,000 rands per worker annually, it could support an additional 2 million private sector jobs at a cost of around 800 billion less annually than the existing 2 million private sector positions, which would amount to an astonishing reduction from 17% to just 7.5% of our GDP. Leaving us with almost 1 trillion rand more to reinvest in our economy every single year, and which could be used to finance the infrastructure, the security, the roads, even grants and other services. By simply reinvesting that money into the private sector, around 300,000 additional jobs could be created overnight, reducing our national unemployment by almost 2 percentage points, also virtually overnight. And keep in mind that all of this can be done even without touching the budget allocated for social relief grants being paid out to almost 27 million people in need. And also bear in mind that these figures only reflect the immediate impact of such a step. Over a long term, the benefits would of course be compiling and of course be far, far greater for all of us. And of course, if the entire government sector were to be abolished along with all income tax, the benefits would be even greater by a margin of 3. Despite all the talk about minimum wages, the reality is that South African wages are actually being suppressed by the government itself. Wages will only increase once businesses are allowed to accumulate capital, workers become more productive, and employers are forced to compete with one another for a scarcity of labor, which we do not have here in South Africa currently because of our high unemployment rate. You see, as the great Austrian school economist Ludwig von Mises explained so succinctly, the only sustainable way to raise wages is to increase the amount of capital invested per worker. Better tools and equipment make workers more productive, while competition between employers force them to pay more for that increasing productive labor. But when the state, such as in the case of South Africa, takes 26% of the entire economy in taxes and redirects it towards mostly inflated salaries of mostly incompetent and corrupt individuals and servicing debt like the South African government currently does, it completely destroys the very process through which poor workers could have become much more valuable and better paid and thus much more wealthy. In a recent video we highlighted that the Afrikaner people here in South Africa have always rejected socialism such as that what the ANC is trying to enforce upon us, and why every other people group in this country should join us in this ideology and do the very same. You can check out that full analysis by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right here. We do believe you will benefit greatly from the information shared in that video. And if you watched this video until the end, we want to thank you for the gift of your time and for being part of this fight. But if you haven't done so yet, please remember to join our group today, becoming a patron and following the easy steps on the banner below. Thank you, goodbye, and God bless.